gave us, Trina inputted, and then we printed that off.
We're live, guys.
So I don't know if they can review it or be approved. I don't
We're
know.
muted though.
I don't know if
No,
I don't know if we have to approve it, do we?
It has to be published.
Well, it has to be published, right, but. Well, we'll have to.
Craig and Adam here yet?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep. How you doing, Adam? Can't see you.
Good. Yeah. No, you won't get
How do I
video.
know How do we know it's you?
I don't think that's gonna be reviewed today, and Adam's not here he didn't get the.
Well, if it's as he submitted it, then I don't know why we can't. You know what I'm saying?
I put in everything you gave me, so.
If you've put in everything you gave you, then I don't see no reason.
You can't approve an
A what?
out of balance.
So
Oh, it's out of balance?
the Fund
I'm trying to
201,
find-
Huh?
the
Yeah,
Fund 201 is out of balance. He warned me about it though.
201. Well then,
So I put it in as it was given to me. The very beginning
Yeah.
of the page.
I don't know. I guess you have to ask him. I didn't.
It's the,
The road fund?
Yeah, it's a road fund.
what's wrong with your road fund?
It's out of balance.
Yep, that they do that every year. They always come in negative on their expenditures. That's how they qualify for their grants.
Oh, so
If you look
we
back
still
in the
approve.
history, yes, you can approve it. If you look back in the history, it's been that way every year. It's out of balance.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So then we can approve it stuff. We did last year, huh?
I don't know.
We did last year.
I mean, if we,
Here, I'll pull it up. Hold on.
I see it. I know what you're saying. I think we had this discussion last year.
Yeah, because I remember that's what Jesse and all them do to get, yeah. I think we've had that discussion the last 4 years.
Have
If
you guys
they,
heard
if they
from
show
Jeff?
balance, they don't qualify for any of the funds, the whatever. So, are we in
Have
open
you-
meeting yet?
Not yet. Oh, wait, Carolyn's not in here yet. and I don't think Craig's called in.
Craig's called in.
Huh?
Well, he was on there, but then he got off, so I'm not really sure if he's back on or not.
Well, we got it with 3 so far.
Have you guys heard from Jennifer Martin? Is she calling
Yeah,
us?
she's going to be.
She just logged in. I just saw.
Okay.
Hi guys,
Hi,
Hello, Jennifer.
how are you?
Good, how are you?
Well, we have to answer good or we shouldn't be here.
You know what? It's the day before Turkey Day, so I'm sure you guys have some snow there, and I don't know about.
No, only in half the county.
Oh,
We had
really?
about 2 or 3 inches on our side, wet heavy. And when I got to about just a little bit past Hubbard Lake Road, it's like all green. It's like, where's the snow?
Huh? Yeah, I'm in Reed City, which is just
Yeah, I've driven through there.
yeah, just north of Big Rapids, and gosh, we've got oh gosh, I would say probably a good 3-4 inches.
Oh, really?
Good for you.
Oh, yeah.
Keep
Nothing
it.
in my house. You don't have it.
A couple more inches and the snowmobiles will be out. So, but my daughter is
Nah, I don't
an avid hunter, so this is like she's in her glory to be able to sit out there and hunt with some snow on the ground. So, are we waiting on anybody?
Carolyn just got here, so
Carolyn just walked in the
Sorry.
room.
That's okay. Good
And,
morning, Carolyn.
Adam's on the phone and Craig was on the phone.
and
Okay.
don't know. Okay.
So, what I have for you guys, I don't. I
Well,
didn't
yeah,
even-
we're gonna call the
Okay.
meeting to order.
Okay.
Okay, we wanna call the meeting
Yep.
to order. Wanna do an invocation, Gary?
Yeah. Dear Lord, we thank you for the privilege of being able to serve in government. We thank you, Lord, that you've established government. Help us to do the things that would honor you and do the best things that we can to run this government the way you would see fit in Christ Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Well,
Roll call.
Robin,
Here,
Bob there.
Here.
No.
here, Brady.
Here,
Yeah, Breggy.
Yeah, I mean,
morning,
supposedly.
Adam.
Yeah, he can vote and everything.
Yep.
Craig, are you there? No, Craig.
no, I don't see him on here.
Okay. Well, first order of business, Jennifer, 44 North.
Thank you. I'm not used to being a part of your guys' board meeting, so I apologize. I didn't realize we were in an official meeting.
The
So
only
with
way
that
we
being
can vote on this stuff.
With that being said, how long do I have? Just so I know I stay within the time.
However
structure.
long you,
However long you want. You're really really, there's only a couple other things we have to discuss today. This is all about insurance, health insurance.
if we break for lunch though, you're buying.
Sounds good. I'll ship it over there.
Okay.
All right. So I don't know that
Just
I'm gonna
give us
need,
your-
I certainly shouldn't need till lunchtime. But it gives me at least an idea of, I don't have to kind of skip through anything and we can spend some time at this. So what I did is I don't have any handouts for you because I more or less just have been kind of taking some notes that I'm going to pull up and show you. Are you guys able to see the screen pretty good if I pull this up?
Yeah.
Okay.
We just can't read what's on it.
Well,
Well, maybe
What'd
John can,
Well-
We may have it because the clerk and deputy have provided us with.
These are different ones.
yeah, there's
Oops.
different. Yeah, go ahead and pull up something and we'll see.
Okay. Sounds good. This one's pretty big, but I'm going to go up some. Can you guys see that okay?
See nothing.
Probably not. Oh, you don't see anything. Hang on.
Send it to my email, Jennifer, and we'll print it out.
wait a minute, we're getting it.
Wait, we're getting it. There we
Got
go.
Okay.
Okay.
This part
Can't
is
read a
probably gonna be
thing.
the smallest that you need to see, and you don't need to see it because you kind of have already have it. But can you guys see like this? To follow
Not
along?
really.
I can't.
I'm gonna forward. I'll send this to you, Carolyn. And if you
Sure.
want to quick print it,
Right,
some of it is kind of chicken scratch, but let's see.
that's okay. C. Brummond at alcona-county.net.
Okay, it's attached to the agenda, so if you only want to print 3 to 5, otherwise you can print the whole thing, doesn't matter. But I will send it to you right now.
Okay.
Jennifer, you can leave your screen shared because I got a good view of it.
Okay, perfect. Yep, I'll still keep it up. Carolyn, so what was that email? Because the one I have is the Alcona one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
Steve Brumman.
Got it.
She got it.
It has shipped off. So I think,
Affinity.
I make you guys dizzy going
Familiar.
back and forth here.
Ah, yes.
While we're waiting on that, why don't we look at this retiree stuff?
Yep.
Or Carolyn, do you want me to wait for you to kind of start this conversation?
No, she's printing stuff off, so you might as well just wait a minute if you got time.
Okay, sounds good.
And then we'll have it in front of us, Jennifer.
Okay, sounds good. It's crazy. Thanksgiving is already tomorrow. This year
Yeah.
has flown by.
Yeah, it has. Regardless of all the isolation.
Yeah, you'd think that it would have moved like a snail, but I know for me, it's definitely went very fast. Our business has changed quite a bit, but at the same time, I think it's gotten even busier. Just because there's so many different questions and I mean, it's almost like back when ACA came out and everything was changing. I feel like sometimes we're back to that to that moment of time again.
You'll be going back to it.
We'll see what happens. My fingers are crossed. I won't say no more. So while we're waiting on that, there is one thing that I could ask right now. Do you guys know, and Trina and Steph are in the room too, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so do you guys know, because I was gonna pull it and I don't think I've gotten it yet, approximately how many active employees you have that are Medicare eligible? And if you don't, that's fine. I can pull it
Just
from
two.
the census. Is it just two?
There's just two of us.
Well,
My-
next year there'll be 3 because Terry is 67.
Well, right now, there's just two of us, Carolyn and myself.
There will be additional employees that are going to be eligible next year, I believe.
They're that are current.
Okay, so
So what do you think?
One,
Who?
one that we know of for sure,
Well, Terry would be one, and then who's the other one?
Bill?
the judge,
Huh?
the judge.
Oh, she's gonna be 65. Okay.
so for the two right now, is the spouse also Medicare eligible?
Yes.
Only on one.
Is the judge? I don't know. No. And is Terry married?
I'm not sure if Terry's married.
I think just one, Jennifer.
Okay, so that's gonna kind of play a role into this
Thank you, Carolyn.
conversation. I'm just gonna kind of,
So how is this any different than what I've got in front of us?
I don't know.
yeah, the first few pages are gonna be exactly the same. So the rest is kind of more my chicken scratch where I have,
Okay.
started to kind of make notes. So let's just keep on this conversation here. If you guys have now in front of you, I'm
Yep.
not looking at the camera, so I don't know if is Carolyn back?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm back.
You're back,
I'm
okay.
back.
So go to that, I think it's the last page. Yes, the
Right.
last page, you should see this up on your, or in front of you.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So what I did here, I kind of outlined this a little bit because it can get confusing as far as what we can and what we can't do with the retiree coverage there with Priority Health. And so I think what we're trying to accomplish is how can we allow those employees that are active on the plan get on to take advantage of Medicare, whether it be a supplemental or a Med Advantage type plan, simply because the coverage itself is cheaper and a lot of times better. So in saying that, am I correct with that being the end goal? That's kind of what we're looking for.
Well, that's what we're looking at, right?
Okay. And so basically what we've got is, and I think if you look at that class 2, this is really what we're talking about are these people. They are active employees and they are post 65. So the one thing that we have to be mindful of as we go down this path is we have to make sure that if somebody were to go off the plan, that their spouse is also Medicare eligible, because once the employee goes off, the spouse goes off as well. So we can't
Right.
keep the spouse on. So that's a huge piece that we have to take into consideration. Now, Priority Health, I did get a quote. I got two, the standard and the standard basic and the standard enhanced. And I just summarized a few key points down at the bottom. I have the full quote, but to keep this simple for conversation's sake, I put more the key things so you can get an idea. Priority Health on the group side, they will not allow us to take advantage of this type of a plan for your active employees. And so when we look at this quote at the bottom where you see Priority Health MAPD option, this would only be for your class 4, which is those retirees, so they're not active, and they're Medicare eligible, which I think we might have, do we have one on now at this point that is post 65?
I thought we had 2.
Is there
Actually, I
2?
don't think we
I don't-
only offered a pre-65 plan for our retirees.
Right,
So
yeah.
at this time, we don't have anybody over 65 eligible.
Okay, because I
We
know
don't
we
have-
didn't for a while, because the last one I think passed away or came off. So what this would be is you don't have to pay the premium. This would be offering it to them as an option to go into once they turn 65, and they can be billed at home. Now, I don't think this is what we're really looking for. However,
No.
that's what the priority group plan would be, is for those that are no longer active, retirees. We can set up a plan so that way they've got something to move into when they do turn 65. So I reference Patty a lot. So Patty, as an example, when she turned 65, she could have this as an option to go on to and be billed directly at home. So it wouldn't cost the county anything. It's just an option that you would be able to have out there and offer. So now let's get back to that class 2. So in class 2, this is again our active employees that are Medicare eligible. So we talked about 2 of them, and it sounds like maybe only 1 would be eligible in this situation. So here's where we kind of have that hang up is because Priority Health will not allow us to offer it to your actives, this plan down at the bottom is not available. So to get around that, what we would do is we could offer a cash in lieu, but we would have to offer it to the actives as well. Now, I have a message out to my attorney, and I was just looking, I still don't have a response back, but I'm curious on if we can, I don't think we can discriminate based upon age. So I don't think we can say, okay, class 1 active employee, we're going to give you 200 cash in lieu if you opt out. And class 2, because you're post 65, we're going to give you 300 or vice versa. I think we have to keep it the same, and that's our way to get around all of this. So we're not discriminatory. And so what we could do is come up with a number for cash. Because you guys don't do a cash in lieu today, correct? You don't offer any waiver dollars.
We do if you don't take the insurance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You do.
Except for buyouts.
It's a buyout.
It's a buyout.
yeah, if you don't do it for 12 months, you get paid at the end of the year.
And
Okay, so
Jennifer, just to
How
touch
much is
base
that?
on
4,350, 4,000, 3,500, and 3,000. Obviously, 3,000 single, couple, and family.
So I'm sorry, it's 3,000 for a single, 4,000 for,
Family.
And 35 for couple, for 2.
okay. So you guys pretty much already have what I need in place, which would be that option 3. It's something that I've never put on the summary sheet, so I can start doing that.
But that's
So-
an option, not a mandate.
Yeah, that's an
Exactly.
option.
Yep. And that's all we need it to be is an option. So now those that are in, that fall into this category, this post 65, so they're Medicare eligible, spouse is Medicare eligible, they would probably be better off taking that cash in lieu. So a couple could get $3,500 for the year. So that's $291.67. So $291 that they would get, and they
A
could
month,
then use that money, to buy an individual plan, like a whether it be a Med Advantage or a supplemental. And so that is something that I can coordinate, but we would work one-on-one with that person. So with one person as an example, maybe it's with Colonial Life, maybe another's with Priority, maybe one's with Blues. And so
But what if they don't want to
they
do
would be
that?
billed at home, correct? I'm sorry, what's that?
What if, first of all, they're not paid till the end of the year. So
Yep.
they would be paid. And second of all, what if they don't want to do that?
They don't have to. So it would be only an option. And that's
All right.
the key thing, is it has to be an option. We cannot, because we can't discriminate because of their age. And so that's why these same options would be for your class 1 and your class 2. And I'm just calling them that because it makes it
Sure.
easier to have this conversation. So we wouldn't say, Carolyn, because you are 65, whether you're active or not, here's money, go buy your own. Instead, we would say, okay, Carolyn, and also Steph, here are your options, and your options are going to be exactly the same. And then you make that decision. Now, the difference is Steph is not 65. And so she definitely wants to stay on the plan because she can't go and buy a supplemental type plan because she doesn't have Medicare. Where Carolyn, you could, if you wanted to, you could explore that option because you have that available to you, but you don't have to.
Okay.
So I think the kicker though is you guys don't pay that out till the end of the year.
That's correct.
Which in some cases, I think it'll be a reimbursement back. Or what we could do is we could set up what's called a premium only health reimbursement arrangement. So it's like an HRA, but it's only for premium. And we could set that up and we can run it on a monthly basis. So that way you're not just giving them a lump sum of $3,000. You're paying that out to them on a monthly basis. And that way, if they were to leave, let's say 6 months in, those dollars stop.
If I may, Jennifer, when we talked a year and a half ago, and then you pulled out some supplements that could be available, whether it was from HARP or whatever. In my mind, what I'm looking at, is we have like eight or nine active employees in the HRA. The HRA, the county has that possibility of having big payouts and deductibles. I think we're going to be close to 20,000 that the county had to pay in additional on the deductibles on people in the HRA.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, what I'd like to see is that, okay, we pull out of HRA, everybody goes to HSA. The problem is when you're 65 or older, you cannot be in an HSA.
Mm-hmm.
So then if the county went to everybody's in the HSA, now we have 2 employees or maybe 3 that are over 65. Is there not supplemental plans that 44 North could offer to the county for those active employees that are over 65 that would be a very good supplement? I think you showed me one from Hartford. It was $380 a month or something like that had very, very good coverage and actually some better coverage than we're already getting. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of what I think for us to say 65 and over and you're active and you're going to get a $3,500 buyout, I don't think anybody's going to even, I don't even know if that would even be possible. But I mean, for the county to try to get away from our the deductibles and our I can't think of the right word now. Yeah, our liability on all these deductibles. Like this year, we didn't even have anything in our budget for deductibles. We're going to bet about 20,000 in deductibles. So in our 21 budget, we've got 36,000 in the budget line items for these HRA employees in case they do have deductibles. Well, to get away from that, let's send everybody to HSA. This is what we're offering. Everybody can be in the HSA, but we have the employees that are over 65 can't be in HSA. So that's what I'm thinking is we're looking at what is those options if we pulled out of the HRA and went all to HSA for those people over 65.
Okay, so I'm gonna back up a statement that you said. So you had said, I don't see that happening when you mentioned the 3,500 or $3,000.
Yeah.
It's happening right now though, correct?
It's happening for those
It's just
employees
nobody really
that
knows.
opt out. They opt out because they have other insurance available.
They have a spouse usually that.
Yeah,
has
you know, so they've already got insurance, so they're getting a $3,500 or $4,000 bonus for not taking insurance. For I'll just say me, for me and my wife, if we were gonna opt out and get a $3,500 bonus, $3,500 option to buy our health insurance, that's $290 a month. Oh, I know alone, supplemental insurance is going to be about $300 and some a piece a month. For, you know what I'm saying? So I envision having, if it's possible, to have those a very good supplement plan available to our active employees over 65 that is good insurance for them. They have their Medicare, they have great supplemental insurance, and it still costs the county a lot less than what it's costing right now.
Okay.
I think that.
You know, I don't know if that's. I thought that was a possibility.
Well, similar, I think down that same path, what my perspective is, regardless of where I am or am not in this picture, my thought process is all of our employees need to be offered a parallel insurance that has, so to speak, as much as possible, equal equality. How 44 North finds a way to do that is up to you as our individual who's taking care of us. I use that kind of loosely, but still. And so I feel 44 North needs to say, here's a plan, HSA plan. Oh, that's right. You have a couple people that can't be on it. Here is a plan for them that is equal to what your HSA people have.
One second, please. Is it okay if I close that door a little? This echo is starting to
I
bother
don't
me.
know. Yeah, go ahead. Okay. I don't know if that's possible. That's where I was thinking in my mind where we were kind of going to get some answers today because of that, you know.
Yep. So here's the thing.
You can't close it all the way. You can't close it all the way. Unless you put a sign on the outside.
We were able, with Blue Cross and BCN, we're able to implement a group MAPD plan, like what you see I have noted with Priority Health down at the bottom, within your active group. Meaning,
Okay.
if we've got somebody that is Medicare eligible and let's say their spouse is not, we can still implement it on them because they have what's called a colon-safe suffix, meaning the Medicare employee is going to go on to the supplemental plan. The spouse can stay on the group. Priority does not allow that. So that's where we're running into the problem is I can't with Priority Health. I cannot, they will not allow me to write their group plan on your active employees. I can only write them on the retiree. So this is my way to do a workaround to say, okay, we still can do, I don't want to, even though Priority is saying I can't do it, we technically still can do it. We just have to be loose with our language and say, okay, here is our two groups. Of course, we can't break it out like this because we can't discriminate, but for the sake of our conversation right now, I've got it broke out to make sense. But we have to offer the same plan to both. And so when we determine what that cash in lieu is, it's going to have to be similar to whatever you're going to offer to the active employees. So I can't come in and say, we're going to put this alongside of it and it's $400. And so we're going to give, if they take this, $400. So that's where I'm getting into a little bit of a struggle on what I can and can't do.
As the agent to Alcona County, I believe you being the representative of 44 North, have the obligation to provide for us what we need and what we are wanting. And I mean, that's what an agent does. They make it
Yeah,
work.
we asked for that again. So are you saying, Jennifer, because we're with Priority Health, that we can, if we went all HSA, those two active employees that cannot be on an HSA would not allow us to go all HSA with Priority Health then? Because they don't want, if we're an active employee, we've got to be in that group plan. Is that what you're saying?
So, yeah, so we cannot, so Priority will not allow us to write their group supplemental plans on your active employees. So
Okay, no,
if
that
we
answers
had
that.
if we went all HSA, we would need to create a second segment like we have today, specifically for those employees and classify it as our post 65 division. Or they could, the retirees or the those that are Medicare eligible, they can take the HSA, they just can't contribute towards it. They can't get that.
Oh,
I didn't know
whoa,
that.
whoa, wait a minute. Back up a second here. That's 180 degrees out of what we believed. We believe.
Rena, I'm going
we
to
have
go
no-
back to my email. I think I might have just opened a can of worms here. I know I've went round and round on this.
Jennifer, in looking at the HSA and in the instructions, it states if you're Medicare eligible that you are not allowed to be on an HSA
Yeah.
plan. That's what it states.
Yeah.
So that's what we were going by.
Yeah.
By
So,
law.
yeah. And you can, so you could technically go on it. You just can't contribute to it as a base plan. I don't know what Priority would allow and wouldn't allow you to do. I know I've got someone right now that's on it. And
we have
it's just, it's not in the language to do it that way. So it's not how I would want to set it up, because if you've got someone that ends up contributing, then it's going to violate the whole plan.
But Jennifer, the issue isn't with Priority. The issue's with the IRS, is my understanding. They're the ones
Right.
saying it can't happen,
Right.
as
Right,
Trina just
exactly.
indicated. Yeah, so
Yep,
so
that is-
that's,
Yep.
if the IRS says
issue-
don't do it.
The issue, so that is issue number one. Issue number two, though, with Priority is Priority will not allow us to write a group supplemental plan on your active employees.
I got it. So they can't.
Blue
So you
Cross
can't.
will, Priority will not.
Okay.
And you
So-
can't put us you can't put that group, that post 65 group, into a Blue Cross plan.
No. 'Cause
No.
that,
No,
Priority won't let them pull it out.
No.
Pull you
So
out.
But-
in that conversation,
but I can, you guys. I do think there is a way around this, the way I have it set up. And so you just, for those that would, Adam, is it you that is 65?
Dan,
Dan.
Dan.
the guy
thank you.
here.
Okay, so for Dan, as an example, he's an active employee and his spouse is 65 also?
Yes.
Okay. So he could then take this cash in lieu. We could
Doesn't
run
want
it
to.
through,
Well,
we could run it through this premium only HRA to where he gets reimbursed on a monthly basis. And to get reimbursed, he has to give us the proof of receipt of payment of a plan. And he would buy in the individual market. Now, I want to show you something. I'm going to pull it up. It's actually, bear with me here. It's something that it's a piece I put together actually for my parents, but I think it could go well with the conversation we're having. Just to give you an idea, because on the individual market, you actually would be pretty surprised by what you can get. Let's see. Bear with me. Oh gosh, where is it?
I guess, Why, yeah, why, I guess, one question, Jennifer, as our agent, and this is, I'm thinking about the county as a whole. Are we, or am I correct in thinking that it would be beneficial to the county to pull out of the HRA, regardless of our 65 or over, to pull out of the HRA and go all HSA? Is that, as our agent, is it beneficial to county to do that?
So it's going to probably be more like a wash. And I have a scenario that I want to show you, that might make a little more sense, and then you can make that decision from there. But I don't think it's going to necessarily create a savings for you if that's what you're looking for. I think it's just a matter of budgeting those additional dollars. Because if you go into the HSA, that 20 grand you're talking about that you're paying towards deductibles, you're going to end up paying it on the flip end with the HSA between contributions and the cost share, the premium. And I'll show you, let me just finish this one thought and then I'll flip over to that. So we're on the same subject. I bear with me. I gotta find, I know where it's at somewhere else. So I do think this will be helpful. Here we go.
I didn't print off Adam's motion. Did you print off Adam's motion?
Pardon?
Did you print off Adam's motion?
I didn't see it.
Okay, let me flip the share back over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so here is a piece, and again, I don't know how well you can see it, but I can at least talk through it a little bit. Can you guys see it okay? I'm gonna blow it up a little bit more.
That's good. Just talk through it real quick. I understand what you're saying.
So this here, this is an individual plan. These are two different plans. And I did this summary actually for my parents. And so I thought it would be great to pull it up just to give you an idea of what's on the individual market. So like I'm trying to explain on what the county can do, my dad retired from DTE Energy and he gets X amount of dollars every year as part of his retirement package. And so he can use those dollars towards his health care each year. And so right now he's on this merit plan, which is the first column kind of in gray. He pays $62 a month for this plan. And it has no deductible. Okay. Now, right now, a new plan just came out, and these are actually both Priority Health individual plans. So a new plan just came out, and I would have to look at Alcona County, but I know for the county he lives in, it's a $0 premium plan. So he could flip over to this $0 plan, just like you guys. So if you took the cash in lieu, you could change this to a $0 plan where you're not paying anything. It's got no deductible. You'll see it's got for ambulance a $275 copay. So, I mean, there's definitely some out of pocket here, but you would be surprised on what you can get on the individual market for very little money.
Okay.
And so that's where, like for Dan, we could say, okay, here's, if you decide to take that cash in lieu of $3 grand, then we would sit down with Dan and his wife and look on the individual market and see what would be best for him and his wife. Maybe it's not Priority, maybe it's Blue Cross. That would be a better fit for them because maybe their prescriptions or whatever is covered better on the Blue Cross side. So there's a lot of different programs that are out there. And then if there's a premium involved, then they could get reimbursed that premium through the HRA. So we would do that reimbursement. They would send us the receipt and we would in turn reimburse them. And it would just be at a max of $3,000. So ultimately
Okay.
there could be some savings because let's say it's $62 a month for a single and you're giving them $3,000. You could say, okay, we'll reimburse you up to $3,000. So go see what you can find. Or you could say, we'll reimburse you up to $3,000, and any excess you can leave in this HRA to use for some of these copays and things like that to get reimbursed. So there's a lot of different ways you can do it. But I think that ultimately this is the way that you guys might want to go because it gets us around those priority health rules. We'll buy it on the individual market and we'll just run it as a cash in lieu.
Okay,
Now,
well, I think
can
that's,
see there are, because some of these plans, they are canned rates. So we could even put together an individual type benefit sheet that has maybe 2 or 3 different plans on it with the canned rates, regardless of your age. So to keep it simple, because I think that's what you were looking at before with the Hartford. It was nice because it was all right there. So we could even kind of do that similar thing. But the biggest thing we have to be careful of is one, we can't say because you're Medicare eligible as an active employee, this is the route you have to take. We have to allow them to still take the group coverage. So it's their option. And then we can't spell it out saying buy on the, buy a supplemental plan on the individual market, so to speak. But that would be more on my end, just making sure that I've got the language out there correctly.
so I understand. I guess just one more question, and it's probably too late in the year to even act on this, but with Priority Health, our active employees that are over 65, if we did not include them in a plan with Priority Health and the county went out and got their own supplemental insurance off the market, whatever, does that still jeopardize Priority Health because you're pulling 2 active employees out of the plan? Or 3?
So
I mean, if we weren't even in the plan for Priority Health, or they want all the active employees in the plan, is that Prior Health's
Stance.
yeah, is that their stance? Yeah.
So what happens is when they look at your or establish your renewal, they're looking at all your employees, including your waivers. So
Okay, all right.
they want to know everyone that is eligible for benefits. So if you've got a 67-year-old that's active and eligible, they have to be disclosed to them. Now the good news is if we go this route and we get them off, it's still going to, their age is still going to play a role into the rating factor because technically they can come on at open enrollment. However, their utilization is not going to play a role. And that's where we could see where it could help the active rates if we've got someone that's Medicare eligible that is a large user, and we got them off the plan, that's going to help in the end. The only factor that would be in there is their age.
Okay.
But you just said that a moment ago, you said there's the risk of them coming back into the plan. But you said a few moments ago that no, there's no way they could come back into the plan. So why would they still factor that?
They still have their qualifying events.
So I'm trying to think of how did I say that? So because every year they would have an option. So if they took cash in lieu this year, and they're
No,
an
I'm
active
talking about-
employee,
I'm talking about them being averaged into the total cost for the county.
So as long as they're an active employee, their age is always going to be factored into the rate.
Always gonna be.
Whether they're taking the cash in lieu or not, their age is always going to be factored into the rates. Now,
But
if
yet-
they come off the plan, let's say, and they take a supplemental type coverage and they take cash in lieu, then their utilization. So if they had, let's say they had a heart attack.
I understand the difference. There's
Okay.
two factors there. I understand that difference. But I'm
Okay.
saying that I don't feel priority should, what about the people that we have who are taking cash in lieu of insurance?
But they could opt in, they're still eligible.
True.
So
They have
because they're
qualifying
still
events.
eligible, they are still being factored into your rates. So when an underwriting and actuarial at Priority Health is determining your rates, and let's say we've got 3 people that are waiving coverage, those 3 people, even though they're not taking the plan, their date of birth is still a factor into determining your final rates, because ultimately
Isn't it-
they can come on the plan.
Right.
Isn't that
eligible.
isn't that also reevaluated annually?
Yes.
I'm-
Yep, but
I'm
even if they
faulting this-
waive,
I'm
Because
faulting the
they're
underwriter
active.
system.
Yeah, right. Okay.
yep, because
All
they're
right, well,
active and eligible. Yeah, because even if they waive, let's say that they waive at open enrollment, because they're active and eligible, let's say they have a qualifying event and they get married in June. So off the calendar year, they can come back on the plan. If they chose to, you know what, all of a sudden life's changed and we'd rather have the Priority Health based plan, they can come back on. So their age is always going to be factored in while they are an active employee.
There's one other thing, and take myself out of this picture completely, and I'm going to take Dan out too
Take
for
me
a
out,
minute.
yeah.
Conceptually, if we have someone who the system, yours, IRS, whose ever system, does not allow them to have the same absolute coverage, let's arbitrarily say that the couple coverage for the annual amount is $10,000, or it'd be closer to 9. Conceptually, that person ought to benefit in that dollar amount.
So you have to, there's
You can't
2
do that,
things.
but
Yeah, you can.
One
do that.
is you can't discriminate, so we have to make sure the same options we're offering to those that are post 65 are offered to the actives and vice versa. So it's got to be the same.
but we are
Number-
offering to that employee the benefit of $9,000. We'll say a couple, a 45-year-old
You
person.
mean the cost of their insurance, right,
Yeah,
yeah,
we're offering that benefit,
right.
but the person over 65 doesn't get that benefit.
But why? Because they still would have that option to take that benefit.
Not if we go all HSA.
Not if we go HSA.
Yeah.
Well,
And
and that though is, I mean, that is just an IRS rule. There's really
Right.
nothing we can do around that. It's simply because of them being Medicare eligible. But I don't think there's anywhere that says you have to have an equivalent plan. That would be something that maybe would be in your own contract. But
Jennifer, I
that's
have a
not
question.
necessarily discrimination. It might feel like it.
In my book, it is.
yeah, I know.
In my book, it is discrimination. But Trina's got a
We
question.
have another question.
Yeah.
Jennifer,
Okay.
go ahead.
Because of the liability on the county with the HRA, does 44 North or Priority Health have any other plans that they could quote the county non-HRA?
So let's move over
65 active
to that piece. So
For
bear with
active
me.
employees, for all active employees.
All right, just a second. So if you guys go back to trying to decide which one I want to show here first. So go to the page that has this. Do you guys see my screen with this little snippet of your?
No. Just tell us what's on the page.
Might help if I hit share. Now you should be able to see it. So this
Well,
little
that-
snippet
This
here,
one. Yeah,
what this is your HRA tracking, and this is just a snippet of it. It's not the whole thing, but it's the piece that makes sense to have a conversation here. So what we're doing is we're buying this 5,000 deductible in blue, correct? And then in white is what the employees are getting, this $1,000 deductible plan. And what you guys are saying is we want to just buy this $1,000 deductible and let's not have this HRA anymore in place. Let's just buy this $1,000 deductible plan and have this HSA, and that way we don't have any of these excess dollars going out. So we
Okay.
can do that. However, so these are actually
Increases.
these are 2020 rates. So these would be last year's rates because it's my benchmark to see how it's performing. You're going to see, so in 2020, right now, your rate is $398 for a single. Okay, and that's
Right.
for a 5,000 deductible, $398. Over
Yeah.
here, if we were to say, let's buy 1,000 deductible plan, let's not do the HRA. Instead of the rate being $398, it would be $516.
right.
So I think here's the number you guys are looking for of what if we
Yeah.
didn't do an HRA?
Yeah.
So year to date, which the one I gave you guys is through July, I was able to quick pull up to October. We're at 18,237. So you're right, we're gonna be close to 20,000 out of your HRA. That
Right.
20,000 though, keep in mind, is still saving. So if we, as
Right.
of October 1st, let's say 18,237 is our end year number.
Right.
We still saved 15,297 by doing the
Right.
HRA.
Okay, I see that now.
So I just
Okay.
want to make sure we understand how it works. So those are dollars that are not paid out unless it's used. So if you look at the box, the HRA savings history, you'll notice. So I just did an average from 2016 average. We've saved $47,000 a year on an average level by doing the HRA. Now that savings is dwindling down because less people are in the HRA and more are now in the HSA.
Okay.
Which it doesn't mean we're not saving on the flip end, because when I look at the cost of the plans, they are very close to being the same as far as the cost of the benefit. So I'm gonna go down now further to this piece here with the blue and yellow colors on it. So here's kind of taking that same scenario. Let's look at the bottom rate. Let's look at the family rate. So for a $5,000 HRA
We didn't get that.
deductible
did we? Oh, yeah, it is. It's on
plan.
the back.
you'll see, and I can blow this up too.
Oh, there we go.
So you'll see for 2020, a 5,000 deductible plan was $1,194. Do you guys see that for a family rate?
Yep.
So the $1,000 premium is $1,550. Now with the HRA, we've got, because we do build in dollars to cover that 20 grand we're talking about, that HRA
Yeah.
expense, we build it into the premium. So go back up to the single, see that 398.26 that we just talked about on
Yeah.
the spreadsheet above? We add $56.19 to that. And when we take the cost share, that 15%, we're taking it of a rate of $454, not $398. Because they're not getting a 5,000 deductible, they're getting a 1,000 deductible.
I see
So
that.
that HRA rate of $56, that is the number that fluctuates each year based upon your own utilization. So if it's performing well, if it's under our target, then we're gonna drop it for the next year. Or if we had it blow up, we're gonna increase it for the next year. So it plays a role. So now look at family as an example. You'll see where this does save the employee as well, because 15% of $1,550 is $232 a month versus, 204 a month of the 5,000 deductible, when the end of the day, they're getting the same benefit.
So here's a question, Jennifer. Let's say that we kept the HRA. Is there a way that you can modify it to give a little bit more of the liability on the employee by like raising the $1,000, $2,000 deductible and reducing? Okay,
Yes.
and would that?
Yep.
Would that?
So
change
there's
the
a lot
rate
of things there's a lot of things we can do here, Trina, and that's why I really didn't need to show a spreadsheet. I think it's more just we have to conceptually understand how this works, and then from there discuss, okay, what is it you want? So if it's a matter of you want the employees to take on more of that responsibility in the HRA, we could either increase the cost share in that plan, so maybe we make it a 20%, or we can take the deductible up. So we could do 1,250. That's the unique thing with the HRA is you guys can customize that plan any which way you want.
So if they did like a
2-4.
like a 2-4 or something like that, so you'd be responsible for the first 2,000 and then the county would kick in instead of just the first 1,000, you know, something like that. How much would that, I don't know if you're able to, but how much would that change the cost?
So what it's going to do, end of the day, it's not going to change by bumping up the deductible from $1,000 to $2,000. It's not going to change your base rate because your base rate is already based on 5,000, right? What it's going to do though is it's going to reduce what the employee is paying as a cost share because it's going to reduce your utilization because they're picking up more, right? And so the savings is going to come from that HRA. So if I were to take that 1,000 to 2,000, it's going to reduce the employee's cost share, and it's going to reduce your cost because of the HRA. So that 20 grand now might be 17,000. So we would run that through a calculator to determine, okay, based upon last year's utilization, if we flip this to 2,000, what does this calculate out to?
And if we did something like that, then we wouldn't have the problem with the post 65.
Right,
And it would still change the liability a little bit.
right. Adam, you still there?
Yeah, so are you proposing that we modify the HRA and everybody take that? Is that what I'm hearing?
No.
Still offer the
Just
2
modify
grand.
still offer the HRA, but make it but go with the 5,000, 10,000.
We're trying to do something so the county doesn't have that, that liability possibly on all this, on the deductibles. I mean, if that makes sense.
And Trina
Which-
suggested a 2 and a 4 or 2,500 and a 5,000.
So the liability on the county side would be 4,000, 8,000 instead of 5,000, 10,000.
Right.
Yeah, I think I would like to see us drop that just a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I think it needs to go more
I'm sure you do.
Go what
for
more?
HRA.
So you're thinking 3,000, 5,000 for the employee?
That'd
That'd
be
be a $5,000,
Well-
3,600.
I mean, we need to make a meaningful change. And that's what the whole point was, is trying to go to HSA, was trying to make a meaningful change in our insurance cost.
But in what she's saying, that it won't change the,
Yeah, I mean,
Doesn't change that much.
it doesn't change as much
No, but it
because
changes it does, because, correct me if I'm wrong, it changes how much we have to pay. It changes how much we have to pay and what we get billed, right? 'Cause I know the employee pays the first 2,000 right now or whatever it is, and then we pick.
on the HRA, yeah.
You still there, Adam?
Adam?
you must get frozen or something.
Well, right now I figured out with the current employees that we have in the HRA, it's gonna move it's gonna move over, it's gonna be like $14,000 if everybody went to HSA, that we'd have more in contributions. So, you know, that's what she's saying. You move them over to all HSA, and next thing you know, we're putting 15,000 in
And it's gonna
contributions
raise our rate.
to try to save that, and that at 20, where next year you might not have nothing in the deductibles, or we could have 40,000 in the deductibles. You don't know.
So if you change that
Yeah, so-
liability,
Huh?
That's really where the benefit of an HRA is over an HSA, is because the HRA, the employees might not use it. So
Right.
if they don't use it,
Right.
you're not paying it out, where with an HSA, you're paying it out whether they use it or not.
Right,
So
right.
an HSA really is more the benefit, it's more of a benefit to the employee than it is the employer. The way
Right.
you've got it structured right now. But the benefit to you as the employer is it's a fixed cost. So you know what your costs are. It makes
Right.
it easier to budget. So it's, you know, you kind of can go back and forth on this, but I know when I looked at last year, we did that whole Excel spreadsheet and I did a bunch of different scenarios on if we had everyone in this plan or this plan. And the end of the day, it was almost a wash, one way or the
Right.
other.
Yeah.
As far as the cost goes, I think the biggest thing is we just got to make sure we're including those dollars into your budget. But keep in mind, you are collecting a portion of that from the employee. We are charging them for some of that utilization.
Right. So on this, the spreadsheet you have, which is the renewal date of 1/1/21, you show a current plan with the 5,000, 10,000, then you show the reimbursed plan with 1,000, 2,000. But our current plan that we have right now is the one in the green, right? The 5,000, 10,000?
That we're
that right?
purchasing. So this is your HRA tracking. This is your plan. So this is what we're
These
purchasing
are
in the
your
blue.
current illustrative rates. These are for the following year
Wait, that's
The
40, that's a 45% increase.
in our
Yeah,
HRA.
no.
Yeah, that's what we're
This
looking
is, yep, so we're only looking at the HRA. This really doesn't have anything to do with your renewal, this piece here. This is your
Okay.
HRA, this is all 2020, but it's showing 21 at the top because it's your utilization for the upcoming year. But the
Okay.
plans itself are what you have in place today, and what I use this for is because I want to make sure utilization, where the big HRA arrow is, I need to make sure that 13,000 never exceeds the 33,000. Because if it exceeds the 33,000, we might as well just buy that $1,000 plan.
I'm lost, but anyway.
So that $516.67 single premium in the white, that's not what you're paying today. That's what you would pay if we did not do an HRA and we said, let's just buy the plan.
No.
So at the bottom, I can determine, okay, what is the premium savings between doing an HRA of 5,000 and not of 1,000? So it's $33,000. What if we reimbursed year to date, which this one is to 7/1 of 13,000, and what is our net savings of 20? So that HRA claims now extracted out to October is now 18,000. So we're dwindling down, but we're going to probably come out to about a $15,000 savings. Just because most employees that have had services, deductibles and everything are met by now. Does that make sense?
so basically the plan that she quoted was non-HRA. So if we were to buy it straight out, so you're paying for like the deductible right in the plan cost instead of
But
the
for the-
chances of them using it.
Yeah.
For the post 65 active, could this be an option?
Well, I mean, for
No.
me,
You
it's
have to
difficult
have
to
an
look at.
option for them.
Right, and any kind of HRA plan or non-HRA plan that's not HSA would be an option for the
Yeah.
post-65 as well as any
Right.
other active employees
Right.
that want to do it.
Right.
So, like, if they do the HRA and they change the deductibles or they change it from 15 to 20%, it's going to change a little bit of the liability and a little bit of the cost share of the employee. But if we switch all the way over to HSA, then we do have to think about our post 65 actives.
There has to be.
There
an
has to
option.
be something there. And, you know, she's saying that the cost of the contribution to the HSA for the employees and the raise in the cost of the plan would still create such a cost share that we wouldn't be saving that much money by
Either way.
switching.
By switching all the way over.
So if
to-
we keep the HRA, we raise the deductibles on the employee side to reduce the liability on the employer side, and then look at both rates, 15 and 20%, then maybe you can decide on what would be best.
However, the employees would still have the option of going to the HSA.
Correct.
Yeah, both
Correct.
options, still both options.
Well, no, but I'm just saying,
Yes,
it may look more appeasing for them to move over, which then puts us back into the same
correct.
boat of we all go all HSA now.
Well, I think the main concern with the HRA to begin with was the liability on the county with those deductibles.
Right.
If we reduce it a little bit, we're
Right.
still gonna have that risk. That risk isn't gonna go
No,
away.
right.
But it's not gonna go away on the HSA side either, because if you switch everybody over to the HSA, that deductible is due to the employee all at once. So you're going to want
But-
to
but
give
what
them
I'm-
an option to help
What
them
I'm saying,
with
if
that.
we go too high on the HRA deductible, we could have the option of everybody jumping over to HSA anyways.
Well, that's why,
Well,
if you look at like the 2,000, 4,000, it's
Right.
reducing it a little
Could
bit.
you, how long will it take you to get us the quote on a 2,000, 4,000 on the HRA?
I can do that in just minutes. I was trying to do it right now, but his formulas aren't quite in here. So I just gotta find his right formula sheet, my underwriter, and I can plug it in. So I can get that to you probably within minutes of getting off the phone.
And then
Probably
we
good
also,
15
Jennifer,
minutes.
we
Can-
also need to talk about the pre-65 plans, because we don't want to really look at a post-65 for retirees. We don't want that, because they have the Medicare option or the option to buy their own policy. But the pre-65, like what we have in current place, we would want to look at those, because we had a plan in place for this upcoming year. We need the rates to be looked at for that, because
Yep,
we were going to close out the $4,000 deductible plan, and we were going to offer the same deductibles as what the county has, so that it's continued coverage. So we need to look at that, and we don't want any kind of cash in lieu option for that either. So you know that we don't want any liability on the county for the pre-65 plan. So we need to see those rates as well.
okay. And I have them, I haven't released them because I wasn't sure what changes you guys wanted to make, so I didn't want to release
Yeah.
rates and then have a change. So, with them, because they don't get the HRA, I think those would be a little bit easier to show. So,
Yeah.
but with this 2,000, I can plug that in easily and I can run those rates. Can you guys see where I pasted this HSA plan on the screen? This
I mean-
blue
I
box.
mean, we see like a blue
Well,
column.
you want to
that
take
says-
you want to get off the phone for like 15 minutes and do that and just call us back when you got
Yeah.
it done? We can turn
Yeah,
this off. We'll
I can
take
do
a
that.
15-minute break.
We'll do a few,
Perfect.
we've got a few other things we can do while you're doing that.
Okay,
And then I'll just jump on and I'll put myself on mute, and when you guys are ready for me, just
Okay.
holler. Perfect.
Okay.
Sounds
like a
good.
plan.
Thank you.
all right. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
See you shortly.
Adam, you there?
Yep.
Okay. We'll get her off.
What's next?
Okay, is she off for sure?
Yeah.
She just turned-
Yeah, she's up.
Okay, this is my thought. I understand everything you're saying, but it's too late in the year, but I think we need to start the process of the first year of really looking at MESA, because Blue Cross will allow for the people over 65 to have insurance a supplement insurance and all that. Priority is not letting that happen. And I think we really need to look at that. And so I believe that we need to start right at the beginning of the year. We don't have time now to deal with MESA, but get with them, really saying this is what we're looking for, and get the time to really get it worked out.
Why don't we, just a suggestion, Jan, why don't we aim to maybe start that like April 1st?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, we need to, because I see where she's frustrated and I'm frustrated, because Priority Health has got her hands tied.
They do.
And she's even said, though, but Blue Cross does have that option.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, I just think, and we could simply have 4 more people that are over, up to 4 now next year, over 65, that could be all in our insurances, and so I think we really gotta, and if we gotta go to Blue Cross, we gotta go to Blue Cross, but it's gonna be a savings, I can tell you that, but anyway.
Okay.
So what else you got, Carolyn?
The CDBG. Yeah. Grant anyway. I'm really struggling. How can it be hard to spend $143,000? I don't get it, but it is. Finally got a firm answer. The fiber optic is off the table completely. One of the things that Bill suggested was go to your food banks. If they have had increased need because of COVID, then that's a place we could spend some money. Guess what? So far, I've only contacted 3 of our Alcona food banks. That some of them aren't really food banks. They just do things, Anyway, have you had an increased need because of COVID? Nope, actually it's decreased because they've done so many of the food pantries. So that one, I haven't struck out yet, but let me tell you, I feel like I'm on the second strike.
Yeah.
There is one thing, and I have mentioned this before, the mechanical CPR machines. Now, the gimmick there is, and it's not a gimmick, that's not fair. I do not understand why CDBG does it this way, but they do, and that's what we have to live with. So, if I may, okay, total cost for these things, $15,500 is the cost. Well, I'm not going to do it, maybe.
Yeah, $15,500 is the cost, okay.
$15,500 the cost per. We need 4 of them.
That's 60,000.
62,000.
Okay.
62 even, okay.
62,000. Now, if we go out to purchase them, they will pay that 62,000. But in 2 years, we have to pay them back 8,000 for each unit for depreciation, which becomes $32,000. Now, one way you can look at this is, hey, we're getting 4 mechanical CPRs. We would have them soon for $32,000. True, ambulance does have its own special millage for equipment.
Right.
So it could fall under that.
Right.
By myself, I'm not willing to go forward with this without the board's concurrence.
Well, I don't know. First of all,
Why you
we don't
gotta
have any. Why do we need 4? Why don't we just need 2? 2 ambulance houses.
We have 4 ambulances.
Well, I understand that, but we got 1 ambulance that never runs unless it really has to.
But there are 4 in each place.
I don't. First of all, we don't have any of those units. Number 1.
No. Now,
So
one of the things is, and this is weird. This is why they fall under COVID, because the protocols for right now, if you flatline and you are not believed to be COVID, you get 30 minutes of CPR. That's tough. I don't know if you've ever done. I've never done CPR on a life and death. It's hard. If you are a COVID patient, you only get 10 minutes of CPR. That's protocol established by the hospitals, not by us. So that's why it's a selling point, which I don't understand. But anyway, these would save life. The average return on someone who does not have this machine is 6% who is flatlined. With these machines, your odds of coming back are 20% with the machine. I think that's significant.
What's with the, I just want to understand the 2 years at 8,000, what,
Because
Gary.
CDBG,
Sorry,
Go
Scott
ahead.
Bryce called me and explained that the machines are actually leased for the first 2 years, and that's what the grant covers. And then we buy them out after the first 2 years. I'm sorry, Carolyn, I'll let you continue on.
no, that's okay. Because I had asked him to call either you or Dan, I didn't care which one.
okay.
Uh,
And you're saying EMS can pick it up in their $32,000 budget?
Well, they should be able to, sure.
I would think so then.
With that separate fund
Oh,
that
yeah,
they will
that
have.
would-
Well, since you're having trouble spending the money, spend the 62 on the equipment. I would go with that.
Yeah.
Adam, is it a go for you?
32,000 after 2 years. Out of that, yeah, I would be comfortable with that.
Well,
scenario.
yeah, I mean, he's, you know,
Yeah, Scott would buy them. That's the implication here.
I think Adam, you know, he's looking at, you know, he wants to buy an ambulance, but with his millage, this new millage for equipment only, you know, he's got the potential of 70 to 100,000 in excess.
He said he would be moving some out, he would reprioritize.
Right.
These were on the list, but not high on the, super high on the list.
Yeah,
But
I think.
since we have money. it's a
Yeah, I
go.
think, I mean, the money's gonna come out, it's not gonna come out of general fund. It's gonna come out of that equipment millage, exactly what that millage is for.
Okay,
You know, I would think,
You
yeah.
want a motion for it, Carolyn? I'll make a motion to do that.
okay, great.
Did you get that motion, Steph? Okay.
I'm making a motion for the $62,000 to buy the CPR units, 4 of them,
Through the CDBG grant.
through the CDBG grant.
And recognizing that we will have a cost in 2 years.
That EMS.
EMS will have a cost.
EMS will have the cost.
EMS special millage even will have it.
They have the cost, yeah.
Will have a cost in 2 years.
Right. Okay, I'll second it. I'll second that.
Well, I'll be glad to second since he's.
Okay, yeah, you're seconding.
You're
yeah.
chairing the meeting.
Oh, I'm chairing the meeting, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can still
Nobody said
second. That's okay.
So there's a motion on the floor, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Well,
Oh,
we
roll
have
call.
to do these roll calls since
Yeah.
Adam's voting.
Yeah, roll call.
Brady,
Yes.
Gothier,
Yes,
Brumman,
Yes,
Van Uyck.
Yes,
there you go.
thank you all.
Okay.
I have something from Greenbush that I'd like to bring up if.
She's not back, so.
Since she's not big. Does somebody have something else they want to bring?
No, I think Adam, well, go ahead. It won't be long.
Okay, Adam, if you can envision the intersection of F30 and US 23. Right now, there's a Ronnie's Florist shop on the corner. It's an old gas station. You know where we
Yep.
are? Okay, across the street, across F30,
To the south, they're clearing that
south.
lot. They're clearing that lot right now.
there's 2 lots elongated, north-south elongated. The lot to the east that borders on 23 is zoned commercial. The lot to the west is zoned residential. The Greenbush Township Planning and Zoning Committee Board, I think I put over there where they are, has recommended and is recommending that the lot to the west be changed in zoning from residential to commercial. Ronnie's Flowers owns them. They want to put up a pole barn type of thing to store fertilizer and that kind of stuff in it, and perennial plants and some of those kinds of things. I don't know what all. I've got it on the list. Anyway, this has to come forward to our board. We can wait 30 days and do nothing, or we can acknowledge that we've received it and send it back with our approval or no comment. I think it's great that somebody wants to put something commercial any place in the county. A of course, the people have been notified. You've done zoning, so that they've jumped through all the hoops that they are supposed to as far as MTA and so on and so forth, and the zoning rules and regulations. And if we could agree to let them move forward today, that lets them, unfortunately, and I didn't say this, you didn't hear this here, but Greenbush really dragged these people out for a while. I don't understand why, but it happened, and I think if we can kind of help it along a little bit, that would be very beneficial. And if the board is willing, I would like to make a motion that we acknowledge receipt of the information regarding the zoning change in Greenbush Township and do not issue any objections.
I will make a second to that motion for discussion.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion
So-
second. Any discussion? Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, so this has been through their planning commission and then submitted to their board, the township board.
No,
The township board
no.
has voted.
No, if you
Okay, so
reread
usually
it,
the
no, but you're right. I used to think that, but they have done their research and their homework, and Lee Major does. It's supposed to come to us before it goes to their full board. Their full board has looked at it and is ready to approve it when it gets back to them from us.
Their zoning board has approved it, though.
Okay, all right, yeah. All right, we can vote. I'm ready.
Okay.
I got a
thank you.
question on it. The residents, they have any problem with the fertilizer being stored there?
Nope, they were told, here's the whole packet.
Well, no, I mean, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah,
I'll
they are
take your
aware
word
that,
for it.
yeah.
Because I know
There's
sometimes
nobody around them.
well, fertilizer can be a little touchy because
Yeah.
it can be used for explosives as well. That's why I'm
Yeah.
asking.
I don't think
Well, I'm not,
it's gonna explode anything, but yeah, so,
if they're good, I'm good.
okay.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, seconded. We need a roll call, I guess, stuff.
Benot,
Yes?
Brumman,
Yes,
Gothier,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Adam?
Okay.
thank you all, thank you.
The other thing on the agenda is the non-general fund budget. Do we need to approve that?
Yeah.
As Adam submitted that?
I'll make a motion to.
I didn't,
I didn't
go
care.
ahead, make the motion.
It's right
I'll
here in the
second.
I'll
packet.
make a motion to submit the plan that Stephanie printed out
It's
for
right here.
us
Right
this
there.
morning.
Look under that.
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you.
It's non-general.
Yep. Do I get a second?
Yeah,
I
I'll
made the
second,
motion.
Adam.
Thank you.
Okay, there's discussion. I mean, we basically prove this so Stephanie, so you can get it out, so people can, public, yeah. But it's gotta be 2
Yeah,
weeks or
we wanted to include it in the public hearing for the general fund. That's why
Right.
that's why I got a call from Stephanie last week. Hey, we got to get this done. So I got everything in and matched up. And the only thing that's a little different is, well, nothing's different. It's all submitted. So we just gotta vote to approve, and we can move on.
I don't have the general fund 2021 in front of me, but I would like to ask the question. In 292 childcare and in 298 probate, do the figures with the general fund that we would pay out match with the receiving figures in those two funds?
I remember we talked about that last week or before. I think so. I don't have it in front of me. I don't have a way to. Well, maybe I can. Bear with me. We're
Okay.
waiting on Jennifer
If-
anyway. Hang on.
Yeah, if you go into the general fund, the figure should, in 292, which would be the childcare fund, towards the end of our budget, the figure should be, and I think this is right, 186,737.
292. I'm going. Hang on.
No, you need to go to the general fund, please.
Yeah, where is it in general?
Appropriations to other counties, it's the very last activity
Yeah.
in the general fund.
101, 990 or something, something like that.
999.
9 something like that.
It's the last one.
Yeah.
Appropriation other. Okay, so I have. Well, we already approved this last week. Keep in mind, so
I
we'll just
know.
have to edit it afterwards. But child care fund app 186,737.
Okay, you're right on. And then the next one, what is the one for the probate that you have? $6,000?
Probate, $6,000.
Okay, right on. Thank you.
So, any other
I will
discussion?
support.
Okay,
if you need
I think we
No,
already have,
Adam supported
we
it.
already have a motion on the
Second.
floor, second to approve the non-general fund budget as submitted. Roll call again, stuff.
Gothier,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Adam,
Knut,
yes.
All right, Adam, on this, we're waiting for Jennifer, but do you want to talk anything about this, on this contribution to HSA?
I do. Well, I mean, so we're facing a 6% increase. And I thought, we should consider lowering the HSA contributions. I think right now, despite what that paperwork in front of you says, I think right now we're at 1,000 and 2,000 for single
Right,
couples and family.
right. We're 1,000,
We may
2,000.
consider, so if we have 40 people enrolled in that, for example,
42.
this affects me as much as everybody else, and I hate it too. But if we were to drop to 750 single couple and 1,500 for families, that's $500 per person. That's $20,000 we can save.
I figured
I
out.
don't like it. I enjoy it, and I like the benefit, and it helps me immensely because I have a bunch of kids, and I max out mine every time. But in the spirit of trying to save money here, it's something we need to think about.
Well, I think at the same time, raising the HR1 rate just a little bit also. To rather than the 1,000, 2,000, maybe 2,500, 5,000, or 2,000.
See what she
4,000.
comes back with.
Yeah, she's coming back with something. So,
I figured it out yesterday. If the numbers stayed the same, single at 750, two person at 1,500 is a savings of $17,800.
Actually helps cover the liability.
Yeah. So we're looking at right now. We're looking at a $39,343 increase from 20 to 21 in our total health package. We reduced that annual contribution to that. That brings us down to about 22,000 increase. And then we'll see what she does on this HRA, what happens there.
it'll be an improvement.
It's an improvement. Cutting it in half is better. Gotta do something. But she should
There's
be
one
able.
other thing before.
Jennifer?
Just before sorry to interrupt, but before she comes back, I would like to talk about, and when we're done talking about this right now, but the CTRS reporting, and just don't let me forget to do that. But anyway, go on, Dan.
Well, no, go ahead. Talk about it. We're good.
What reporting?
So I don't know. I'm having a hard time. Craig is having some issues and things, so we made a motion at the last meeting to allow Craig to sign the information to submit that to the state, so we can get our share, whatever what's it called?
Our dashboard. Send it by December 1st.
Yeah. So I got the dashboard all complete and done, and the only thing I'm missing is a signature on that cover sheet. Can I get a motion from somebody to allow the vice chair to sign that sheet?
I'll make a motion for the
I
vice chair to allow the sheet in lieu of the chairman.
Support.
How are you going to get in here and sign it?
I'm leaving here at 3:30 today, so I'll be there in plenty of time to sign it. Probably earlier
Okay.
because I got some more. I got to work too much Monday and Tuesday, and they're kicking me out. So
Okay. All right. So we have a motion on the floor, second, to allow the vice chair to sign our reporting document
if Craig can't, because if
Well,
Craig
Craig
shows up
hasn't-
and does it, then it's fine.
It's still sitting on his chair where I put it.
Yeah, it's still on the chair, so we need to get it done.
Yep,
Got
I
a
agree.
roll call.
I want to get that to Cheryl so we can get that submitted.
Roll call or stuff on that motion.
Brumman,
Yes.
Knut,
Yes,
Gothier,
Yes.
Brady.
I'll be right
Yes.
back.
Okay. All right. You girls got anything to say while we're sitting here? Huh? No?
I think it was a good plan for, not gonna make anybody happy, but
I don't know.
it is what it is.
Well, you know, I don't know. I mean,
It's the only options we have.
Employee costs haven't been discussed yet.
yeah,
Yeah, she's closing it
I
at 50 and
think, Adam, the way we've had a few discussions that we were not gonna change anything about the employee costs there. Leave it at the 15%.
Okay, they'll be happy.
I mean, leave it at 15% and just reduce the contribution to HSA. There's some issues with that 80-20 regarding,
15%.
yeah, well, whatever, same as was last year.
Well, and you end up having to open up the
Yeah,
union
same as
contracts
that.
too.
Yeah, the 80-20 opens up issues on union contracts have the right to come back for, and then next thing you know, they could be, open up their wages, wage opener, and then next thing we know, we could be
And that
buried
was-
with that.
that
So,
was-
so I would think right now, we're leaning to, we'll see what Jennifer says on that HRA, and then leaning to, you know, reduce the contribution and leave everything as it was.
See, we kind of knew that there still had to be an alternative health insurance option. And I think like 3 weeks ago, I was emailing that, I'm like, I think you gotta be able to offer something. And then her stating that Priority Health wasn't gonna let you either,
Yeah,
yeah, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
well, she's not there, but I have a real hard time with insurance companies. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
When they start coming back and she's stuck because Priority Health doesn't offer, but Blue Cross does, I mean,
Well, she has no control.
she has no control. It's nothing against her.
No, but it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why are they like?
Right. So we just, you know, and Adam and I have talked, we just need to start this a lot earlier. As we can see, it takes, you know, even though it, you know, I sent her an email back in August to say, could you have us some figures by September 15th? And we never really got.
Which September 15th.
Which-
Yeah, she did.
And we have pre-65s that they wanna know,
I know.
yeah.
So we just gotta start this in looking at other companies or other agents, you gotta start it way early. It's just too late.
The good thing with Mesa, they said, was even if we reach out to them and we don't get there till May, whatever rates they lock us into, it'll be good for the end of the year of 2022, so that,
Yeah.
like, when we switch, it would be,
You know, years, oh my God, years ago, this has been in the late 80s probably, I think. MERS was using an average increased wage figure of, I think, either 4 or 5%, and that's what they were computing retirement needs on. We were doing 2% increases. Well, I went down and they did change it for 1 year for us. But they had these sky-high
Yeah,
raises.
I
People,
know.
we were getting up here.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
But
she comes back.
sometimes they set their bases on things that are not appropriate or accurate for different regions.
I don't think this is gonna be a big savings in the HRA. I don't know.
I mean, to raise the deductible though.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
you're not gonna scare anybody out of it, are you?
no, I don't think so. I mean,
Not if you don't raise it significant.
No.
I mean,
Yeah, that's the only, cause then you're
Well,
stuck with
it'll
that
raise
thing where everything is
automatically
all
because
HSA
we
by
stay- if we
default.
stay at 15%.
Right.
but Still,
right.
we're not,
well, I think people that are in the HRA are familiar with how the plan works, so even though, like, after the first 1,000, they're used to the county stepping in on that, the extra $1,000, I mean, from the annual increases that health insurance have from year to year, it's to be expected
Yeah.
that something is going to increase
Well,
that way.
We were at the district health and they just approved their health insurance and their deductibles are like 65 and 13. I mean, that's the only way they're getting and they have Blue Cross, but that's the only way they're getting their costs down is they keep raising those deductibles.
Yeah.
someone was
You know?
talking to me about IOSCO and the fact that their employees don't pay anything.
Yeah, I heard that.
Well,
But
good, move to Iosco.
No.
they have to, I mean, what they're dropping at the doctor's office and at
Yeah.
x-rays and everything
Oh,
else
yeah,
is
yeah,
high.
yeah, it's all,
High.
they got all those copays,
So-
yeah.
I mean, the only thing that you would have to look at is reducing the HSA contributions is the only thing that might scare people into moving over to the HRA, because that deductible is pretty significant when it gets you at the doctor's office, then you have your copay, you know.
Yeah, with the HSA right now, what do you have to pay on deductible?
Well, right now, like a natural office visit for me is like $89, and then plus I have my $30 copay, so I'm paying that every time I go to the doctor.
But isn't there a limit on your HSA or no?
Well, there's an out-of-pocket limit
Yeah,
of $6,000 for a family, but I mean, you have to hit that first initial deductible before
right, right.
it reduces at all, like what the cost is, and then we still have a 10% co-insurance. So that's another amount of money that you have to hit before, you know, and every single year, I have a family, and we haven't, you know, we're thankful we haven't had any major health issues,
Right.
but I hit my deductible in December. I'm like, okay. So I might have one doctor's appointment where I get, you know, less money to pay for, but other than that, so I'm paying out of pocket the entire year.
Yeah, I hit mine too. I told everybody, if something's gonna go wrong, do it right now. Because that January, it's too late.
Yeah, if you hit it in January, I'm gonna be mad.
So really, when you look at a family, your contribution to say it's gonna be 1,500, you're getting that put in. If you went over to the HRA with raising the deductible on the HRA, you're probably still better off to stay in the HSA then.
Yeah, because for me, for the benefit of that is like I have a family,
Right.
so there's 3 of us that I'm paying for, and even though I have to pay that amount every time we go to the doctor, I'm not paying out of my check every week.
Yeah.
And that's saving me there.
Right.
So if I wanted to go over to the HRA, I feel like it would be more expensive for
Right,
me.
it is.
Unless something
You're not gonna get people to
big
come out of the
happens,
HRA
you know.
really to go over there.
Well, I just, you know, it's the only concern, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Because
Come on, Jennifer.
I asked
It would have been a lot easier for Jennifer if she would just have said, I just want to tell you that Prior Health will not let this happen. So,
Yeah.
end of story. You know,
Yeah, well, I feel like I've had the same looming question throughout the whole process of it
Yeah.
all.
right.
And I kept thinking, no, we're still gonna have to do that HRA plan, so,
Yeah, and what Carolyn's saying is, she says you could have that cash in lieu of. Well, you're gonna get, say, a person that's getting a $9,000 benefit to have the insurance, get a $3,000 buyout, and then have to go buy your own supplement insurance, because
Yeah.
you gotta have that above and beyond. Well, then that's crazy.
yeah. Well, then there was also, I mean, she's got on here something about, post-65 retirees. No, we don't wanna get into that.
No,
You know, that's
no.
a whole nother plan.
No, you don't want to think
Then
about
she's
that.
talking about cash in lieu as an option on the 365 plan if we do offer that.
Nah.
I'm like, no, because
No.
it's not a
No.
liability of the county, the 365,
Right,
you know, they pay their own premiums. So
right.
we can't get into all of that.
No, I agree.
But I haven't seen the rates for, you know, the plan that we're discussing on the 365 yet, so I'm really interested in seeing those rates.
Do we have rates from what we paid this year?
Yeah, I have.
Those only, Patty's the only one on that?
No, the pre-65?
Yeah.
No, we've got lots of retirees on the pre-65.
Oh, we do? Okay.
Yeah.
you're on Medicare, right?
Yeah.
Did you go on Medicare before you retired or anything?
Oh, no. I just went on it a year ago.
So you pay for Medicare, $3,000 a year for Medicare?
No, I didn't have to because I had insurance through here.
So, do you have the current pre-65?
I didn't have to go on Medicare because I already had full-blown insurance through here.
Oh, okay.
I only went on Medicare because we had talked
Okay,
about getting a supplement and getting off the county's insurance.
but that cost you $3,000 a year to
It
go.
cost me $180 a month, yeah, so it's like $2,100.
I'm just curious
Yeah.
because I'm looking at going on, well, I have to apply for Medicare in
Yeah, part A, yeah,
Like with the-
September of
well,
next
actually,
year.
I'm
Because you'll be 62 when?
I'll be 65
Oh, yeah, 65 of it, yeah, yeah,
in December, so I have to,
3 months ahead of time.
3 months at a time.
And it's simple, and they just, they automatically take it right out of your social security, you don't even see it.
Once you're not getting Social Security yet.
Oh. Well, yeah, I don't know what you do there.
I just kind
How
of
come you're not
curious.
getting your social security yet?
I've never really retired. I mean,
Yeah, you're entitled, I tell you, there's lots of stuff out there that it's costing you money not to be on
I think
it.
it's in the folder.
You'll never get back. For what little bit it goes up, the older you get, you'll never get back the money that you could have had. I started at 64 with social security.
so actually if I wait till next year, December, and catch it right at the same time.
I would, yeah, I'd catch it right at the same time. You know,
Well, I mean, that way I get a little bit extra a month and,
yeah. Well,
Depends
you're
on-
gonna lose some retirement if you go on social security?
No.
You're not gonna lose any retirement.
I have no retirement, so
No.
that will be it.
Oh,
That's okay, I still got her working.
Yeah.
And then we figure after that, the government will take everything over anyway, so
Yeah.
what the hell?
how's the kid doing stuff?
Good, good.
Yeah?
She's, they're hunting right now.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
She
they're
just came back from Lansing last night,
Oh,
so,
okay.
yeah.
Well, good.
She's doing good.
So what you gonna have to do to go back to Lansing? Any specific hoops because of all this crap, or?
Yes, she's had so many tests. She's had like 4 tests. Yeah. Yeah. It was art. She went down last Tuesday to drop art project off, came back the same day, went down to, they can only get into the college, they only have set times that they can get in there, so she can't miss it, so she had to go back down there and went down for one night to,
Come on, Jennifer, what the hell?
Okay, so like this is the pre-65 plan, right?
this is the 2020 365.
So this is the plan that we're currently using, and this is what this would be. We're using those now, but we'll be canceling out this plan. So for 2021, we need to see rates on there. Hold on.
Well, those rates, that 365 is included in these costs here, isn't it? I mean, we don't have more,
Where's that at?
well, I mean, our total, this shows 648,000 is our total health
Yeah,
insurance.
So, yeah. we
That
can-
pre-65 isn't above and beyond. No,
No,
No.
because that's full.
That's just coming in out of this, yeah.
Yeah, but like with the,
And that's the question that Patty had, so she was gonna zoom in, I don't know if she's on there, I can't see anybody, but it's,
And we're still live on the air, just to let everybody know.
yeah.
I know.
she-
Yeah.
it was, Jennifer was saying, trying to explain it, that the pre-65 division would close and it's just considered an HRA.
Oh,
and, well, it still offers the HSA as well. It would just be,
oh,
they figure in,
With no county contribution.
right, they figure in the rates, the liability for the deductible, but I don't know if it really actually does affect the county's liability, because it doesn't make sense to me how they can figure in the rates, and then what happens if one of our pre-65s were to hit that deductible and it, because the county's not supposed to have to pay it.
right.
So I think she needs to explain a little bit more on that, just so I can understand it a little better. But as far as,
You might be able to do that in an email, because she doesn't have those rates, we don't have
Adam.
them available for us to look at.
I was hoping that she was gonna get those. along
Yeah.
with
You there? Can you tell when she
Yep.
checks in? We can't see nothing
Yeah.
here.
Nope, she's not in yet.
The 15 minutes of work would happen how long ago?
Half hour.
Must be on the UAW time.
Dan,
Yeah.
hi, it's Scott.
Hey, Scott.
I wanted to thank all of you, both present and on the line, for the approval for the CPR mechanical devices.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
You're still sending that fruit basket, aren't you?
You want fruit flies or not with that?
Without.
Without, all right, I'll see what we,
Just kidding, Scott, thanks.
I
Not a problem.
appreciate your efforts and your help on this.
Well, you know you're required to pay for that out of your equipment account.
I don't have a problem with that. It's just Carol and I have been racking our brains for the last week to 10 days that they came back with this strange.
Wait a minute. How about some money for cleaning that thing? It's got to be expensive to clean. I mean, you're going to need all kinds of stuff, right?
Actually, the things that we have in stock will clean the equipment adequately, or properly, I should say, not adequately.
Well, I'm just trying to think of spending more money here because I mean, you know.
I know, like Carolyn said, how do you spend $143,000? It can't be that difficult, but apparently it is.
Well, it sounds like they changed every ground rule they gave you.
Well, it appears that way, or that their counter offers only want to spend part of the money, not all of the money, and that their counter offers are strange or unusual. I'll keep banging my head and see what else we can find or get. I don't know. We'll work together.
If fiber optics is off the table.
I heard that. I'm sorry to hear that. So that
Okay.
frees up a lot of money, but that also takes a very vital project off the plate.
I'm afraid John's going to cry when I go and tell him.
Yeah, I know. I just
He's probably disconnecting us at this moment in time.
I think he's going to bury the cable. So,
I should.
all right, I got to get back to some other projects. I just wanted to say thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
I don't see where closing that door is an issue anyways. We still got the babysitter in front of us.
Looks like Jennifer just joined,
Oh,
but she's
let
not
me
up on the
go
screen here
hail
yet.
the troops back.
Oh, she did email me.
I'm here whenever you guys need me.
Hey, she's back.
All right, Jennifer, I'm gonna go print those out really quick.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
I guess. I'm gonna print them for you guys.
Okay.
I'll pull it up on the screen as well.
Did you bring our lunch, by the way?
I know, I'm about ready to holler up to my own kids. Maybe
Is
they'll
it
send
something,
your way too.
is it something that you want to send us so I can print it out or not?
Karina's doing it right
I
now.
did send
Oh,
it. Yep,
okay.
you've got it.
Thank you. So how much are you going to save us with this new plan? Before we see it.
So, I will actually, I'm gonna share this. I don't know if you guys, how much you've seen it all, but I did get a response back from my attorney while I was waiting as well. So I was able to get that I think adds to our conversation some. This is you should be able to see my email right now.
Read it
that
to
I
us,
had
Gary.
sent that I had sent out. So this is the other thing that we have working against us. And this came out, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, that we've got to be careful of. So this is something this is why I continue to say we can't discriminate. We have to be careful with the language, because we have what's called the Medicare secondary payer rules. And so you can see there, it prohibits the employer from incentivizing or encouraging Medicare eligible employees to enroll in Medicare rather than the group health plan. So that is where we have to be really careful with how we do this.
Okay.
And if you look down below, you'll see what is allowed. We can provide a uniform taxable opt-out payment. So like we talked about, cash in lieu, to all eligible employees who waive coverage under the group health plan for any reason. So that's where that class 1 and class 2 I talk about, we have to have it exactly the same. And we can't say, because you're Medicare eligible, we're going to give you X amount, and we can't tie it to anything that looks like we are incentivizing someone that is Medicare eligible.
But going with the HRA, we're home free anyway.
Right.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
We have both HSA and HRA.
Yes, and
Okay.
we can still do what we talked about with that passion. We can look at the individual market. It's not that we can't do it. It's just we have to be very careful with how we structure it, how we word it and present it, because we don't want to fall under the Medicare secondary payer rules. We don't want to be discriminatory. We don't want to be it.
So we did go down.
About $6,000, is that all we're saving?
Mm-hmm. 6,205.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, so now
Yeah.
pulling up the spreadsheet, let me pull that up on the screen as well. The screen. Now blow this up a little bit bigger here. So there's actually a few different options here. Looking at just the HRA side of things first. And let me minimize this a little bit more. Okay. So the first set of boxes I put at the top, I tried to throw some color in here and
This
circles
is
and
the
stuff so we
employee
can,
paying.
I can point
10%
to
of the
these,
cost.
but if you look under the
Okay,
health
and then
reimbursement
on this plan,
arrangement,
it's employee
those
paying
boxes.
20% of the plan, right here. 20%. So look, 6,000, leaving it the same.
Okay,
or
what
11,000.
am I looking at?
Okay, so if you look, we've got your current and we have your reimbursed, which is
Right.
what we've been talking about all along. And then if you look at that option number 1, that is what we had just talked about. So
Yep.
keeping that current plan, that current HRA, but changing the deductible from 1,000 to 2,000. If you look down below, you'll see where the savings is in the HRA illustrative rate. So it drops that it drops it by $6,200. Now, of course, that's an estimate, but based on your
Right.
utilization, we're projecting it would save about $6,200 to have the employees pick up the additional $1,000. Because we have a lot of employees that aren't even hitting the 1,000. So that's why you wouldn't experience the full 1,000 because it's all based on utilization. So if you look further down, you can see illustratively how it's going to affect those rates for you as an employer, and then also it's going to drop it by a few dollars is all for the employee's cost share.
So when you look at the second line, co-insurance, it says 10% in option 1.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So co-insurance comes in play after the deductible. So on your current plan, as an example, I'll stick to the gray column that the employees pay. So they pay $1,000 deductible.
Yeah.
And then after that $1,000, they pay a 10% co-insurance up to a max of $1,500. So that's for hospitalization, lab work, x-ray. They go in and have a surgery, they're going to pay $2,500 for that surgery. They're going to pay their $1,000 deductible, and they're going to pay their $1,500 co-insurance.
Okay. Well, that's a one time. After that, it's all covered then.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So then in option 2, you're showing that as a 20%.
So then option 2, this is actually where we could change your base plan. And so we can actually buy a higher co-insurance and a higher co-insurance maximum. This also changes the drug card a little bit as well. And then pair that with a 2,000 deductible. Now, instead of $2,500 out of pocket for that 10,000 surgery, they're going to have $4,500 out of pocket for a 10,000 surgery. It's going to save the county approximately $11,500, and again, we're talking $5 basically on a single employee cost share.
Less, $5 less. Okay.
Yes, yep, as far as what they would say.
These.
So this would be an option though, that would wipe out that increase, that 5.19%.
Mm-hmm.
Almost. So it'd get us down to a 1%, but
Right. Can you see that, Adam?
Yep.
So right
got
now, our employees in the option one, if that was choosing, would have a single person's paying $72.17 a month of, okay. Then it goes
Yep.
down if we did the 20%. And out of the 9 or 11 people that we have in the HRA right now, how many have hit their $1,000 deductible? Anybody? Or 2 or 3?
let me look and see. Let's see, hang on for 1 second.
I thought you said something about that, but I think we have 11 employees in the HRA, so.
8, I thought it was.
No, it's 11.
11?
Yeah.
Yep, we've got 11 enrolled in the HRA, and let me see. I could probably, because the number's pretty small, I could probably tell you how many have hit it real quick.
It's probably 3. Me, Craig. Well, there's only, I think there's just 3 departments that have the overages. Or maybe 4.
So it looks like we've only had one. We've only had
One?
one. We've only paid out on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those 11 contracts. We've
Right.
only paid dollars out, and then one of them hit that full amount.
Okay.
Quick question on the HRA that we currently have, the rates that you have on the sheet.
Mm-hmm.
It's confusing us at the moment. On the current illustrative HRA rates, you have 56.19, 134.86. We currently have that it's 68.17, 163.60, and 204.50.
Okay, bear with me for a
Is
second.
there-
I gotta get back to that screen. Just a second.
Sorry.
Well, I think
That's
it's 15%, isn't it?
Well, this is what we're currently paying, and it says current illustrative rates, and they're within dollars of difference, so I don't know why.
Well, I'm
Okay,
saying
so
this-
Karina, can you give me that again? So,
Yeah, like our current rates for the employee on the HRA are 68.17, 163.60, and 204.50 for a family. On the current illustrative rates on your page that you just sent over, it shows 56.19, 134.86, and 168.58. Can you tell me why it's not showing what we're currently?
Cause I think that's at 10% and I think we're at 15%.
no,
So she
so,
just said-
no, so what that number is, that's not the employee cost share. What that
Okay.
is that is the projected HRA rate that we add on to the premium. So if you remember, we talked about that
I
premium
got it.
58, and we added the
Yep.
56.19 to get a total of $454, and then we
Got ya.
take the 15% of the 454 to get your current cost share right now of 68.17. And then
Thank
to
you.
the right of that in the gray, you'll see renewal illustrative HR rates. So you can see this group actually because of the HRA utilization going up from last year, we're increasing this rate. So we're taking it from $56 to $81 because we had a pretty significant increase in the, so you mentioned that 20 grand. So that is probably quite a bit more than what we paid the year before.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yep.
yeah.
So we then adjust this accordingly. And now if we see this dip back down, maybe someone just had a bad year, and next year, now we're at 10 grand, you're gonna see this 81.60 for a single HRA rate, you're gonna see that drop back down again.
Okay, thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, perfect. I know these spreadsheets can be very confusing because there's so many different numbers. So that's why I try to put all these colors on it, especially when I'm not physically sitting there. Sometimes it's a little easier to call out a color or a circle. So bear with my artistic stuff on here.
So I just want to make sure I got this right. So for the $6,000 savings on the HRA, what are the deductibles again?
So if we were to go over to that option number 2, that is going to drop your premium from the carrier by $5,000 and pretty much wipe out that increase. And it's going to drop your utilization by $6,200, collectively dropping you down to $11,500. And so for the employee, what does that mean?
Yes.
To get to that number is they would have a $2,000 deductible. They would have 20% co-insurance up to a max of $2,500. So if they had a huge, a $10, $20, $30,000 surgery, they're going to pay $4,500 of that surgery. Now, keep in mind, when I look at your utilization, when I just said we only had one, let me look and see if I can tell how many have actually hit the 1,000. But we're only talking a couple of people. And so it is not going to
reducing our contribution on the HSA.
Moving from
I
$1,000
think we
to a $2,000. Most employees aren't even going to
save
notice a
11,000
difference.
there and almost 18,000 over here. That's 30,000 bucks. We're taking money away from the HSA side, and we're putting a little bit more obligation on the HRA side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that much. It's saving them $16 a month out of their check.
Yeah, but what is it saving them when they max out? What is the increase?
So on that 20%, the 20%, the max any employee would have to pay would be that $4,500, right? On that option 2.
The max they would pay in 20% co-insurance would be $2,500. So
for the year,
$2,000 off the bat. $2,000 they're going to pay off the bat in full. So they go in and they have a $5,000 CT scan. That might not be a good one, but they have something done.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
They pay $2,000. Now they've got $3,000 left, so it's going to be 20% of $3,000 they pay that will go towards that $2,500 maximum.
Right,
It's $600. Yeah.
But the county is only has the what's that big word again?
Liability.
The exposure to for that additional $2,000, right? Because after $4,000, right? Is that
no? So the county has the exposure of a potential of 3,000.
Of 3,000 on that
5,000 deductible.
I'm saying the 2,000, 4,000.
Yeah, so once.
Yep, but
Oh,
the
I
purchase
see.
plan is a 5,000 deductible. So on a single.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
Yep.
So the county is only 3,000 per employee that could be out of pocket then? Is that what it's saying?
4,500.
4,000.
And that would be for hospitalization, lab work, x-rays.
Right.
Now that would then apply towards their out-of-pocket max of 8,150 that you'll see down towards the bottom of that little chart. And anything additional from that 4,500 to 8,150 is going to be in office visits or prescription copays, things like that. And then if they hit that 8,150, now their whole plan kicks in and they have 100% coverage, including prescription.
Okay.
So what would be different with this is the employees are going to have more out of pocket for hospitalization, lab work, x-rays. But what's going to be a more immediate feel a difference is going to be in the drug card. So right now they pay 10 or 40 for their generics. And under this one, they would pay either 15 or 50, depending upon that tier it falls into. Now, of course, if the drug is a $7 drug, they're going to still pay $7, but those tiers do go up a little bit. And that's the area that the bulk of the employees are going to feel a difference with this.
I see it. Yeah, I see it.
It's not huge, but that is going to have a more immediate impact.
Option 1 saves us 6,000. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Huh?
I think option 1.
Yeah. What are you thinking, Adam?
Well, I mean, looks like, so we're gonna boil this down to option 2 and option 2 HRA and the option 1 HSA.
No, option 1 is the HRA, and then we would continue.
Well, you got option 1 HRA or option 2 HRA. Option 1 is a $6,200 savings to the county. Option 2 is $11,000 savings to the county, but it puts a little bit more obligation on the employee with the deductible and on prescriptions. But
We're looking at option 1.
Well, that's with option 1, and if we decrease our annual contribution to HSA to $750, $1,500, we're looking at about $25,000 reduction off our $39,000 increase. So we're looking at about a $14,000 swing for 2021 in our healthcare costs.
The other
So
thing I
that would
think
be
you
for
could,
these two options right here.
Yeah.
or you could go with option 2 on the HRA
Yeah.
and lower the contribution down to 500 and 1,000, depending upon what you got to do to.
Well, if we went option 2 and kept that contribution at $750 and $1,500, we're only within $7,000-8,000 of breaking even.
Well, the only reason I'm saying that is, I mean, you're causing a little more discomfort to the HRA. I would say it should be likewise both sides.
Well,
I mean,
The
just,
HSA is not changing much, other than the actual increase of the year.
right. Yeah.
All right, so Jennifer, you circled the current plan HSA. That's the HSA we're talking about going to.
Yep.
And which HRA is everybody interested in? It's the option 1 HRA.
Wait, let me ask Jennifer. What is the difference in the option, our current plan in HSA and option 1? What's the difference there? Oh, it's 20%. 20% co-insurance.
Yep. So, so the difference here is going to be the 20% co-insurance after the 2,000 deductible. And then once that deductible's been met, well, actually, I mean, it's 80%. So the out-of-pocket max though, you'll see, is the same. Wow. My boxes are kind of big here. But you'll see that is the same, that 3,000. I'll erase that. So you guys can actually see.
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Trina, what are your thoughts on this?
What is the 10?
Well, I mean, with the option 1 on the HSA, really that's, it's only raising the co-insurance another 10%. It does result in a savings.
It saves 14,000, yeah.
I mean, personally, I don't like it, but from an employer perspective, it does save quite a bit of money in the HSA area, but then you're also putting more responsibility on the employee to pay even more out of their pocket and then you're
Right.
reducing your contribution. So I think you're going to get some flack there. But as far as the HRA goes, I think option one is a pretty good savings amount, and it's just, I think that it's understandably the route that the employer would take to save money and require a little bit more from the employee. So those are my thoughts.
So with option number one, just to kind of back up, Trina, what you said too is yes, they would have a little more out of pocket through between the deductible and the out of pocket max. But end of the day, if somebody were to hit the full max on the current plan or option one, it's $3,000. So end of the day, it's going to be the same amount out of pocket. It's going to be for the bulk of the employees though that aren't hitting that full amount, because they're going to be paying 20% versus 10%. So like you said, they're going to have more coming out in that middle area in between.
So that's on that HSA. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's still maximum out of pocket $3,000.
Still the same out of pocket. Yep. So if you were going to make
So-
a change to this, I mean, you couldn't go any more minimal than this. It's a pretty small change, because end of the day, out of pocket is the same. But like I said, for those that hit that $2,000 in deductible and pay, let's say they have a X-ray done and it's $200, they're gonna, right now they're paying 10% of that 200, where on option one they're gonna pay 10 or 20% of that 200.
Right.
So they're
$40.
gonna get to their $3,000 a little quicker.
But so they're not. For 14, that's a $14,000 savings, huh?
Yeah.
That's a $14,000 savings for not.
Personally, if it was me, I would say, I mean, if it was me, I'd say, give me option one and give me more money in my HSA.
That's what you're going to hear.
Yeah.
Well, option one, and I'll keep it the same because we're already talking about reducing the contribution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if we
Yeah.
reduce, like I said, reducing the contributions like 17,000 savings. Option one is 14,000 savings if you don't change the contribution. You know what I'm
So
saying?
we can leave that alone, and it's only $3,000 difference, so we could.
Right.
Okay, so if we took full on option two HSA with the as listed here, and we went option one HRA, right?
No, you're just the opposite. I would, if we were going to go, this is my opinion. If we were going to go option one on HSA, which is the 20% co-insurance, then I would go option two on HRA, leaving the contributions the same. And we're looking at a $25,000, about $26,000 savings to the county on our $39,000.
Okay, you said option two on the HRA?
Option two on the HRA, because that's the 20% co-insurance.
That's the
Because option one
$11,000 savings?
Huh?
The $11,000?
Yep, the $11,488, and the option one on the HSA is $14,086, and leaving the contributions the same. They're both going to
I
have
would be down for
20%. They would both have 20% co-insurance, and we're at $25,500. So we're at that $14,000 swing which we were at before.
Contributions the same, you mean the 2,000, 1,000?
1,000, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
then this
realizes
one
that
would be
savings of the
3.
1,000, 2,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
To
can't do
me,
this very well.
we're not, we're leaving the contributions the same. I mean, I still think that's very generous. In option one, the only thing we're doing on the HSA is they're going to be 20% co-insurance, but they're still going to get to their 3,000 faster. But once they get to 3,000, that's it anyway. So I think that's the minimum we can do. I would think.
I think it'd be to the employee's advantage if you're gonna take it, if the choice is stay where you're at and reduce employee contribution or take option 1 and keep the contribution the same. I think you're doing
Right.
the employee a more of a favor by taking option 1 and keeping that contribution the same.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think that too.
What do you think, Carolyn?
I'm okay with that. I mean, there's no winning.
There's no way,
Pass.
no.
But
No.
at least there's still plans available for everybody and
Huh?
I said that you're
Yeah.
not creating a new plan just
No.
specifically for your post.
No.
Yeah,
Somebody needs to make a motion.
I'll make the motion to adopt that,
We're gonna adopt option 2 on the HRA.
option 2 on the HRA, option 1 on the HSA, with the contributions staying the same.
Second
Yes.
by Briggy.
Any more,
Discussion.
discussion? Carolyn, you wanna say anything?
Option 1 on
No,
HSA
I-
and
I thank them for
contribution stays the same.
having both plans.
Yeah, yeah, I think this really helps, Jennifer. I think,
Good.
you know, and I appreciate that and all the work.
Good.
Anybody else have any?
Okay, Jennifer, I do have one more thing, just for the 365 employees that wanna see it, the way it's laid out, can you send me, an HRA option number 2 and an HSA option number 1 for me to send to them so that they can see what rates the board has chosen?
Yes. So with that being said, can I go a little bit further with some questions, or did you guys need to finish that motion?
We're gonna
Well,
vote.
I wanna finish the motion. We need a roll call vote on that.
Oh,
Okay.
First,
sorry.
sorry, okay. Stephanie,
Brumman,
Yes,
Brady,
Yes.
Vanette,
Yes,
Gothier.
yes.
Okay, Jennifer.
Okay, Jennifer, go ahead.
So I'm just pulling this up really quick. So right now, for the pre-65 retirees, we offer to them, I'm pulling my notes here really quick. So we offer to them the $4,000 plan with no HRA. So that's going to now change. I think it's just Patty in that one and it's closed. Am I correct, Trina?
No, yes and no. There, we are going to close it to 2021, and we were gonna go with the same plans as continued coverage that we chose for
Okay.
2020.
So that one then we're gonna eliminate, and Patty will need to choose a different one. And it will
Correct.
be what we're showing here, or of course the HSA if they're not Medicare eligible. Okay.
Yeah. So, and can you explain a little bit on how the deductible works if they were to choose the HRA? The employer is not responsible for the additional liability once they hit that deductible like they do in the employee, like the active employees. But you guys roll in a percentage within their premiums that covers that liability.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so that is where that illustrative HRA rate comes into play. So because they're not getting a 5,000 deductible, so let's look at option 2 I circled here. You see that $402.39 for a single? Because they're not getting a 5,000 deductible, they're getting a 2,000 deductible. So we have to add on utilization. So that's that $62.16 to cover those claims that may come through. So when we do the calculation of 15%, we're doing it off of the total, which is $464.55. So we take 15% of $464.55, not $402.39.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but you do that for all active employees, correct? So I mean, offering this plan to the pre-65 without it being like the 4,000, 8,000 plan that we have currently in place, does that change the liability in that deductible for the county, or how does that work?
With the pre-65, we don't offer the HRA, so they would just get the 5,000 deductible and pay the 402.39.
Right.
Okay.
If we could offer them the HRA, but their rate is going to be 464.55 then.
Patty, are you on there?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And I'm looking back at my notes because we didn't add the HRA last year, correct? They only get, right now today, they're getting that 5,000 deductible plan, no HRA, or we got that 4,000, the old one out there. Is that correct?
Right.
There's no HRA for us today. Okay, so technically, I mean, if the board wanted to offer them the plan like the active employees with a 2,000 deductible, they could do that. And the rate that we would charge that retiree would be 464.55, not 402.39. And that's going to help cover any of that utilization expense that could be incurring.
Patty, what do you think about that?
I'm not, because I paid the full HRA amount, I mean, the deductible currently with the premium. So are you saying this, I would have the same option as the county employees?
Right, so you would have the option of either a 5,000 deductible at $402 or a 2,000 deductible at $464.
Okay. And I would also have the option of the HSA plan without the HSA.
Right.
Correct. Yes, correct.
Okay. And the HRA plan has a higher prescription coverage copay.
Than what you have today, yes.
Okay.
But that's going to be regardless whether they offer the HRA or not.
Okay.
You'll see that drug card, that 1550.80 is on the purchase plan and on the reimbursed plan, so that wouldn't change. It's going to change, but it's going to change no matter what.
But the HSA plan has the same prescription coverage as what the current plan had, the HRA plan.
Yes. Yep. But it's after deductible. So it's after that $2,000.
Okay. But did you say certain prescriptions are covered?
On the HSA?
Your maintenance ones?
Yep. You'll have any preventive is covered prior to that deductible, and that does include some prescriptions as well. And now that we kind of have this finalized too, Patty, I can send out some information to you. I just didn't want to send you stuff and then it would have changed. So I didn't want to cloud the issue.
Okay.
We have a lot of other ones too, Jennifer, that we need to send them to.
Yep. We'll get it together. So we can get you the rates and all of the information
Next month.
If it's easier too, Trina, if you want to send me a list with their addresses, we can even send them out from our office, the packets, and just get you a copy, whatever's easiest for you.
Okay. And so how would you just refresh my memory on open enrollment? Like once we get these all finalized, these plans, what is the date that you want to really start seeing things to you by, like your cutoff date?
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to get this over to Priority Health to do your agreements ASAP, because we're going to need those signed right away. And then once we do that, we'll be working on pulling together open enrollment. I'll do a recorded version of the PowerPoint. And then after, so we can push that out. And then afterwards, if they want a live one, we can do that. I did one this morning though, and between people jumping on and not muting themselves, it was very disruptive. So I'd rather just do a recording where it's clean. They can follow along and listen. And then we can do a live Zoom call or whatever afterwards and go through it again. But I'll do that and push it out with the enrollment forms, and then we will need those back fairly quickly. So maybe we do, let's say the second week of December. That should give them plenty of time if I can get everything out by the middle of next week.
We'll be getting requests here soon, I'm sure.
Yep. So I will work on this right away so we can get the materials in their hands.
So our next meeting isn't scheduled until December 1st.
Yeah. second.
Jennifer,
So we might have to have
December second.
can I move to another, new topic?
Yes.
December 2nd's our
Okay.
meeting.
What is the COVID
For what?
cost gonna look like?
Prove what?
What do you know about it, what, if anything?
I just approved it, she just gotta create it.
Honestly, anything that I know about it is really going to be more my opinion.
We
So
couldn't have
I don't
another special
know.
meeting.
I don't think anybody knows what
Okay.
that's going
What
to
was
look
that?
like, because until they have that vaccination, what is the cost going to be? I can tell you right now for the employees, it's going to be free. So we're not going to pay anything because they're pushing so aggressively for everyone to get it. So the incentive will be not to charge for it. What does that mean to the employer? I don't know. And I think that's kind of a scary point. I never have received more decline to quotes in the 22 years of doing this as this year. So all I can think of is that maybe it's because of COVID and the unknown of what is that going to cost. And so we've got carriers that are just kind of sitting back and waiting. But again, that's all my speculation and my opinion.
Well, your opinion is more knowledgeable certainly than mine, so,
It does concern me a little bit, I will tell you that, because
yes.
I mean, if I look at drug costs quite often. We've got some, we have our own pharmacy division, and I see some. I mean, we've got one that's called Ibrance, and that drug it's about a $22,000 a month drug. It's a breast cancer medication, and we've got more and more specialty drugs that are coming down the pipeline. Quite a few, which is great when you're sick, or we have a family member that's ill. We want the best drug that's out there to
Sure.
cure them. However, the cost of some of these drugs is unreal. And so it really concerns me with this vaccination. What is that going to cost? Because pharmaceutical companies, they're out there to make money. Someone could argue with me, but that is my opinion, is they are out there to make money. So if it's going to help us, they're going to make their dime on it for sure. So
Yeah, they're a for-profit organization.
yeah, and it's
Yeah, but
going to
they've got a
trickle
lot
back on our rates.
The
Yep.
stock market's gonna
But
go up.
they also got a lot of funding from the government too.
Sure. Shit.
They do, yeah. So hopefully it's all disclosed, and hopefully we don't, have a huge impact. But I mean, like EpiPens, if you were to read that story on the EpiPens, it's unreal how much it cost, or how little it cost, I should say, for
Right.
epinephrine,
Yeah.
and how much they're charging members. So,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yep. All right. Well,
Thank you,
anybody
Jennifer.
else? Thanks,
Happy
Jennifer.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, have a
Thank
good
you. And then
Thanksgiving.
are you guys gonna let me know then what you decide on the retirees? Are we gonna offer them that HRA option?
Yeah,
Yes.
those would be the two option plans. So if you could just
Okay.
send us just separately so that we can provide that to them, or whatever, then that would be great. I can just send it over by email so that they can get a head start on looking at it.
Motion to
Okay,
adjourn.
perfect. All right, sounds good. You guys
All
have
right,
a great
thanks.
Thanksgiving.
You too.
Thank you.
Jennifer.
We have a motion to adjourn.
Bye.
Support.
Adam?
Support? All in
Let's go.
favor? Yeah. Let's go.
Goodbye,
Thanks,
Adam.
Adam. Have a good day tomorrow.
Yep, bye.